Hello, it's Alex. Thanks so much for joining me for Friday Sews this week. I have been concentrating on pocket placement on jeans, so I'm afraid to say there are going to be lots of shots of my derriere. Something I never thought I was going to do. But before we move on to that, I just have to say that the best thing that happened to me this week was last Saturday. I woke up to find that this channel had tipped over the 5,000 subscriber mark, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. I'm not really anything like as confident as I think I possibly come across. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone doing this about 18 months ago. So it really is appreciated. Thank you very much, and thanks everyone who comments. I really enjoy that. I'm beginning to feel like quite a lot of you are friends. Anyway, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. But should we talk about pockets and jeans and bums? So I said last week that I had been doing a little bit of research into what is supposed to be the most flattering pocket position for jeans. The general consensus was that you want your pockets to be on the smaller side, although not tiny, that they should be placed more towards the centre back seam rather than the side seam, and that they shouldn't be positioned too low down so that the bottom of the pocket fell below the cheeks of your bottom. So I was making a pair of Mountain View jeans. Now these are the pull-on jeans from Itch to Stitch. I'd already made a pair which I'm wearing and you probably can't see, a black pair which is made actually, strictly speaking, not from stretch denim. This pattern is one that you need extra stretchy denim. I think it's 20 to 30% stretch, which is a little bit more than a standard stretch denim, so not always easy to find. And these black ones I made from fabric that's called Jeggings fabric from TFG. But I fancied making a denim pair, so I went ahead and did that, and I made a few adjustments to the pockets. So we can do a bit of a compare and contrast. Now the jeans that I made are exactly the same. They're exactly the same size overall, made no adjustments to that. I tried to stick to the same design on the pockets, I didn't do anything different in terms of, because obviously you can personalise them. But I did make some changes both to the pocket size and to the position. So here they are, and the first thing I did was reduce the size of the pocket. So what I did was basically take 1 centimetre off all the outside edges, not across the top, and therefore it's now 2 centimetres narrower and shorter. No, 1 centimetre shorter, but 2 centimetres narrower. So then I looked at the position within this back area, and although in an ideal world I want to move it nearer to the centre back seam, I felt that because it's now 2 centimetres narrower, that actually it would look really off centre if I moved that much nearer to this centre back line, because that would look really odd and out of kilter. So in fact I left it at the same point here, but obviously there's much more space here. I did top stitching on this one. I used top stitching thread on my my thread and regular thread in the bobbin, and on the black ones the top stitching, can't remember if I used top stitching thread or not, but they're black, so not as easy to see. Now the only thing I did find is that obviously because these are pull-on jeans, that has its limitations. Inevitably, they're quite high-waisted, and because you've got this wide band at the top and then a yoke, it means that the whole kind of point at which to put the pocket on is lower than perhaps on a standard pair of jeans. So I retained the wide band, but just reduced the yoke a little bit and moved the pockets up, but not in. So this is the point. I'm going to cut to some photographs so we can compare and contrast my backside in the two different jeans side by side to see if there's any noticeable difference. So here they are side by side. I've increased the brightness on the black pair just so that I can see the detail, and I'm wearing my top untucked in the way that I would do with these jeans. The pockets on the blue pair are lifted up so that the side of the pocket that's nearest the centre back seam is only 1 centimetre below the yoke, and the outer edge of it is 1.5 centimetres below the yoke. It does look like they taper out more than the original pair on the black side, but whether that makes a lot of difference to the overall effect, I'm not sure. And here they are again with the top tucked into the waistband, which I would never do with these particular jeans, but just so that we can see the difference. And as you can see, although I made the yoke smaller, it does appear to sort of hit me around about the same area. So obviously that would need a bit of fiddling around with if I felt it was really going to make a lot of difference. So that's where I got to, and I thought, okay, inevitably, because of the nature of these being pull-on jeans, they have their limitations. As I said, everything's set a little bit lower because of this and the yoke. And also I did really want to use my leather jeans patch that Laura had given me from Laura the Specky Seamstress, and I didn't really feel that it was appropriate to put it on the wide waistband because obviously it's not stretch and this is stretchy, but also, as I said, I'm never going to have that bit on display, so it seemed like a bit of a wasted chance to use it. So I got a little bit carried away and I decided to make a conventional pair of jeans. The other thing, obviously, the Mountain View ones have the seam at the back, which is not sort of standard, is it either? I decided that I would make a pair of ginger jeans. That's Closet Case Patterns ginger jeans, and the reason I chose those is because I have made them before. I've got this pair that I made maybe last year in brown. I wore them an awful lot. I really enjoyed wearing them. The ones, my version are, these jeans come in 2 options, a skinny jean and a stovepipe, and a high waist and a mid waist. I think it's skinny jean, high waist, stovepipe, mid rise, and I amalgamated the 2. So mine are stovepipe leg, high waisted. Anyway, love these jeans, but they're too tight. Since Christmas, or before Christmas, I couldn't even get them on, and for the purposes of just doing this comparing and contrasting, I can now get them on, but they are definitely a bit, I'm not going to be wearing them on a regular basis until I can fit into them properly because, just a bit too tight. So this is my new pair. I had everything in my stash. I had this denim. It's very slubby and it's quite lightweight. I mean, not massively so, because you don't want the denim to be too lightweight because it sort of shows every lump and bump. But it's very slubby. I've no idea where it came from at all, but it does have stretch. I used this fabric for my pocket linings and for inside the waistband, and it also meant that I could use Laura's leather patch on the back. So I am really pleased with how that looks. I do think they look like a regular pair of ready-to-wear jeans. The only thing I did any differently, other than changing the pockets, was that I did add a little bit onto the side seams, just so that I can wear them now. So I added about 0.5 centimetre to the 2 side seams on both sides, just to give me a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much. Therefore, it's pretty easy to be able to compare the 2 jeans. So the changes I made to this, I just measured the pockets on the brown pair, and actually they are slightly smaller already than the pattern. I seem to have made them slightly shorter by about 1 centimetre. So yeah, these are still a tiny bit less than out of the box. But with these ones, what I did was I took, instead of the 1/2 inch fold over around the edge of the pocket, I made it 2 centimetres, and then when I looked at that, it actually gave me a very long, narrow pocket. So then what I did was I folded up an extra centimetre on the bottom. So the fold overs are 2 centimetres on the two sides here and 3 centimetres on the bottom here. And I felt that that just proportionally looked a little bit better. And didn't make any changes to the yoke or to the waistband. And in terms of the positioning, I had exactly the same issue really, which is as much as I wanted to move them closer to that centre back seam, I think I only moved them closer by maybe 0.5 centimetre or 1 centimetre. Again, I'm now going to show you the photos I took of the 2 pairs of jeans so we can compare and contrast and see if there's any noticeable change. So here are the ginger jeans side by side, again with the top untucked, as I probably would wear it most of the time. Remember, the brown ones are a tiny bit tighter on me than the blue ones. You can clearly see the top stitching on the blue ones as opposed to the brown top stitching, which kind of blends in a little bit more. And here they are again with the tops tucked in. You can see that the brown ones are tighter than the blue ones in this picture. Whilst you can clearly see the difference in the pocket position, I'm not sure that there's an awful lot of difference to the overall effect. What do you think? I'm really keen to know whether you think there's any noticeable difference or not. I think my conclusion is there probably isn't. I think we can all get a little bit obsessive, maybe too strong a word, but we can all spend too much time worrying about this sort of thing, and I'm not entirely sure that, you know, articles and things on YouTube that are telling you how to wear things in the most flattering way are necessarily helpful, especially if the difference is negligible. And frankly, where I put my pockets on my jeans isn't really going to make a huge difference to what I have been given. So I think in future my conclusion is that I might make some small changes when I make jeans in the future. I like the idea of them being, the pockets being a bit higher and up and not below your cheeks. Other than that, unless you guys all tell me that you can see something I can't, I'm not really going to bother too much about it. I am glad I've done the exercise though, because it's one of those things that comes up from time to time, and I thought maybe I've been missing a trick, maybe there was some fabulous solution that I hadn't come across. So yeah, it was good to do, and of course it does mean that I now have 2 pairs of jeans. These in this lightweight denim are actually really quite nice to wear, even though they're a little still on the snug side. And as I said, the other thing that was great about it is that it gave me the opportunity to use Laura's patch. I was really excited to put this on. I do actually think it just finishes them off really nicely. And yes, I mean, if you come up and read and it says made by me, then clearly they're not shop bought or ready to wear. But I just do think it looks really nice and a little bit more professional. I was a little bit apprehensive about how easy it would be to sew through, but it was an absolute dream. I matched the colour of the patch for my thread in as much as I could, because as I keep saying, I'm running low on thread. So I didn't use blue or the yellow top stitching thread. I used a kind of tan colour. And I just used the same foot on my sewing machine that I always use if I'm kind of doing any top stitching. I kept a slightly longer stitch length. I did it at 3.5 centimetres, which is exactly what I've done for all the top stitching. As I say, exactly the same needle, which was a 90, and honestly it sewed like an absolute dream. Originally I was fearful of pinning it because I didn't want any pin marks, so originally I used a couple of clips, you know, like the quilters clips, but actually I found, to be honest, I didn't really need that because it's quite easy, a small thing to do, so it's quite easy to just hold in place with your hands and stitch around it. And yeah, I really like it, so I can definitely say I would recommend them. No problem at all sewing it on a domestic sewing machine. Honestly, the needle went through it like butter. And I'll put a link to Laura's doing a pre-order, and I'm definitely going to order some, and I'm going to order some blanks as well to have a little play with some designs, because I think that I could use them on other things other than just jeans, normal trousers, and she's going to do some slightly smaller ones as well. Anyway, thumbs up from me. And that is about it really for me this week. I haven't really been doing anything else because that's been taking up my time. I'm going to probably spend the next week making that top for Minerva out of the wool I showed you last week, and more importantly I am absolutely dying to make the shirt from the William Morris fabric. Been watching a few William Morris documentaries. A few of you got me inspired to do a bit of William Morris inspiration from your comments, especially you, Kerry. So I've really enjoyed that. That's been good. But yeah, jeans and pockets and bums have been the focus of my week. So please let me know what you think. I will be back soon. Have a really good weekend. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.